Our friend Julie Bauke is standing by. She is an expert on all things related to work. And we got a situation now, Julie. We've talked about this many times, and we know how valuable you are to this show and to people, and we certainly appreciate your time. But this hybrid work thing that goes on where sometimes I'm home, sometimes I'm at work, that's got to be a scheduling nightmare, isn't it?
It is. And if you are a leader and your solution to this is simply clamp down harder and put your thumb on people harder, it's like that tube of toothpaste. Pretty soon it's going to come squirting out the other end, and you aren't going to like the results.
And those results can be what?
People leave. What's going on is let me level set for a minute. We got leaders, and I'm going to use the term leaders for more senior management. We've got managers who are kind of the people in the middle expected to get the work done, and then we've got the individual contributors, the employees. And because the priorities very often of leaders and employees are very different, your managers are caught in the middle, and they are getting squeezed. And they are expected, because we've got leaders who say, get everybody back in the office. We've got employees saying, no, thank you. And we've got middle managers who are trying to please both sides, and they're getting squeezed. And all the data out there from all Gartner, Gallup, all the organizations that we really trust to manage to get this data and interpret it, say that managers are the solution to fixing the workplace issues, but they're getting squeezed because they're not getting supported. They don't have the right tools to actually get the work done. And so they are the ones, as you look at who's most likely to leave and find something else to do, it's really going to be managers. And that's a shame, because they can be a big part of the solution.
Yeah, I would imagine we're losing those middle managers just simply because of all the unnecessary stress of doing that balancing act. Will the people in the C-suites, are they seeing that is happening and this is the trend?
They're going sometimes I swear, the people at the very top, I always think the air, I think the air is thinner up there.
What? Julie, I have never questioned management, Julie. I'm shocked by your behavior here.
I am just going to say I'm shocked by the fact that you would say that and expect me to believe it.
So the upshot here is these people that don't want to deal with it, who leave and leave the managers in the lurch, and they're getting yelled at from the bottom, and they're getting yelled at from the top, and eventually they leave. Are there enough jobs out there for all the people that are leaving?
There are. There are more options. What there are is there's plenty. There are still jobs, no matter what you're hearing. There are still jobs for really good people who contribute highly, et cetera. But there are, when we use the word jobs, a lot of times we're thinking of traditional work situations where you work for a company. What we have now, and this is where Gen Z has really said, we're going to head for a while, is alternate types of work. Things that I am working a few different jobs. I am doing a startup. I was out of town this weekend, and I used Uber like 3 times, and I always love to find out, is this the thing you're doing? And for every single person, it was they were doing something else. They were doing Uber while they were building something else, or while they were building up their income. One guy was like a consultant in this one area. It was a young guy. He said, I need one more client, and I can quit Ubering and just focus on that full time. So there are many, many ways to make money now that are not about following a corporate path. And so there's a real squeeze, because at some level, let's say you're a manager and you've got Fred over here who's kind of a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how hard he works and what his output is. But so you look at it and you say, okay, do I put the thumb down on Fred and say, look, Fred, you're not meeting the expectations that we have for you, and et cetera, and risk either Fred quitting or us having to let Fred go, or is a 6 better than nobody in that seat? And those are the calculations that are happening in every office, because it still is hard to find people for jobs.
It sounds like, look, you know this better than anybody I've ever met, and it sounds like what you're saying is that those that need to adapt the most are the people that run the businesses, not the people they employ.
Yeah, and that it's interesting, because when Elon Musk came out, I think it was maybe early this year, and did the old fist pounding on the desk and said, everybody back in the office, my first thought really was for middle managers, because I thought, oh my gosh, it's so easy to sit and throw down edicts from on high, but who are the people who actually have to implement it? And another group that's really at odds with senior management are chief HR officers for the same reason. But sometimes people are afraid to tell the truth to people at the very top, or they do and they don't want to listen. They just say, figure out how to get it done. That's why I'm paying you. So there's always been, I think, that chasm in terms of an understanding about the way things really are going. Look at the show Undercover Boss. It's made its whole being about that. And so senior leaders want what they want. They think because they're a senior leader, in a lot of cases, they deserve to have it, and let the chips fall where they may. And at a certain point, I think the chips are going to fall so far and hard that it's going to be very hard to recover from it.
Okay, but let me ask you the impossible question to answer in the 2 minutes we have left. If you give all the power over to the animals at the zoo, then the zoo is run by the animals. The animals in this analogy, that's me.
No. Yes, well, you're a special case. No, I mean, you're not giving the power over to anybody. So imagine a top-down, so the leaders, managers, employees. So even if you are visualizing that, it's top, middle, bottom. That we need to be talking to and collaborating with people of all levels and understanding what they do and what they need. And that, for a lot of senior leaders, that's like, well, I'm just going to tell them what to do. We still haven't embraced the idea that people at all levels have great ideas, and they will tell you what they want and what they need if you're just willing to listen and try some things. And if your whole strategy is pounding your fist on the desk and telling people what to do, this ain't gonna work, because people will quit, they will rebel, they will give you very little of their effort until they can find something else, and so you're going to be sitting there pounding the desk in the dark by yourself.
Hire qualified people. Let them do what you hired them to do, and don't get so caught up in where they are.
And hold them to standards. I mean, there's nothing wrong with holding people to productivity and efficiency and effectiveness standards. You can do that too.
Right. If they're not getting it done, get rid of them.
Don't be such a weenie. That's my final thought.
I like how Julie cut to the chase.
I like
Don't
it.
be such a weenie. That's amazing.
Hey, are you standing up? Are you standing up and stretching while you're
I walked around.
working?
Yeah, I just
You walked around?
Good.
No, he's clinching his butt cheeks.
I got to tell you, Julie, I don't know if you're listening top of the hour,
so
but
much.
that whole butt dance thing that she taught us was really it's helpful.
Yeah.
You know what? The stretching is just mad. The older you get, the more important it is to stretch and move around, or you're going to just get stiff and curl up in a ball and sit on your sofa and watch daytime TV if you don't. So get up and get moving.
Isn't that just like what you talked about? I mean, there's an analogy for what you just talked about.
There you go.
You could apply everything you just said to work.
Absolutely.
Right.
Julie
She's the
Bauke,
best.
follow you on LinkedIn where?
Julie Bauke or thebaukegroup.com.
Thank you. You're right as
Sure.
always, and
She's great.
I'm happy when you're
Thanks,
right. And you're right every time you're on. Have we had a time where Julie's been wrong?
Nope, never, not once.
Not one time. All right, we'll check the tape.